Hello, hello. Welcome to Reading Time. My name's Time, and today's book is Winnie-the-Pooh. Let's get to reading. Winnie-the-Pooh by A. Milne is a collection of short stories about a bear named Winnie-the-Pooh and his friends, all having adventures in the 100-Acre Wood. The cast of characters in these stories are all based off of A. Milne's actual son, Christopher Robin, and his stuffed animals that he had. So A. Milne originally wrote these stories as stories he would tell his son about these adventures that he, Christopher Robin, and his stuffed animal imaginary friends would have during his early childhood. So the poster that I'm basing all of this on actually only has Winnie the Pooh listed, which is the first set of stories that A. Milne wrote about these characters. However, I have the complete tales of Winnie the Pooh, which also includes a second set of stories under the book The House at Pooh Corner. Both books have 10 chapters. Each chapter has its own story. And I'm actually really glad that I ended up reading the complete tales instead of just the first book, because one of the most well-beloved characters, Tigger, isn't introduced until that second book. So reading both, I think, gives me a better idea of the stories in general and the characters and their interactions with one another. I really enjoyed these stories quite a bit. I like the charmingness of the illustrations and the simplistic nature of the characters in the stories, just coming up with explanations for how things are with their limited knowledge. And these imperfections that we see in the characters, their limited knowledge especially, really does make them more endearing. So I would give this book 5 stars. I think that it's a great collection of stories that you could read to younger children especially. I think that preschool age would really enjoy it, so anyone younger than kindergarten, you could easily read these too. But I also think that older students could read these as well. Some of the vocabulary does get a little complicated. Owl especially likes using larger words, so using a vocabulary journal or just making sure there's a dictionary handy to help out with those larger words and the frequent misspellings, that would be ideal for older readers if they want to read the stories by themselves. Content-wise, there are a few things to be aware of. In the very first story, Pooh is trying to get honey from the beehive and comes up with a plan of blowing up a balloon to float up to them and disguise himself as a cloud. And in order to help get him down, Christopher Robin shoots toward him with a gun and does end up hitting him, but the reader and real-life Christopher Robin are reassured that the gun did not hurt Pooh Bear. Everything's okay. So there's some mild violence there. But the other piece of content that I found a little more alarming was Rabbit as a character and his so-called pranks on the other animals. Basically, anytime he didn't like someone, he would come up with an idea to get them to leave. The plans didn't work out, but at one point he kidnaps Roo so that Kanga and Roo will move out of the 100-Acre Wood. And then at another point, he tries to go on a hike with Tigger and Pooh Bear and Piglet and lose Tigger in the woods because Tigger was annoying him. So obviously these go a little too far, and that would be a conversation to have with younger readers about what is okay and what isn't okay to do with friends or to do with people you don't like. What's a good way to solve conflict besides trying to lose someone in the woods or kidnap their children? One thing that I really like about this series of stories is that Winnie the Pooh frequently writes his own poems and songs. And so I think that this could be used in a poetry unit, especially in the introduction of poetry, because I think oftentimes when poetry is introduced to students, especially at that middle school age, there's this idea that poetry is something that is very complex or sophisticated. And so taking excerpts from poems in these stories and showing that you can write a poem, you can even write a poem with form and meter and all of those other good things without it having to be something super serious or something super complex. For example, if I were to look at one of these poems written by Pooh, this one is titled Noise by Pooh. I'll just read the first couple stanzas. It says, "Oh, the butterflies are flying, now the winter days are dying, and the primroses are trying to be seen. And the turtle doves are cooing, and the woods are up and doing, and the violets are bluing in the green." So you can show students or younger readers that there's a rhyme scheme going on here. You can talk about imagery, you can talk about rhythm and all of these different things, and you can show that this isn't a super complex idea. There's not like a lot of symbolism going on. He's literally just writing about what he notices around him. So Winnie the Pooh, and specifically the complete tales of Winnie the Pooh, is definitely a 5-star book for me. It's our first book that we're reading for this that is actually a compilation of shorter stories. And so this one was one that took me a little bit to get through, but I really enjoyed it. As always, I did scratch off the poster for this week. And Winnie the Pooh is right here at this top corner. Shows a little beehive because Winnie the Pooh loves honey more than anything else in the world. Let me know what you think of Winnie the Pooh. Have you read the stories before, or were you someone who just grew up with the Disney adaptation of the characters? If you have read any of the stories before, which one is your favorite, and which Winnie the Pooh character is your favorite? If you are interested in following along with this reading challenge, please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on social media for weekly updates about the upcoming book for the week. If you have any recommendations for other children's books that you think should be on this list of 100 best children's books, let me know that as well. And as always, have a marvelous week and a wonderful read.